frame 1, hit OK, and at frame 3, you see flash here is target. You can set it to screen 2 if you want the whole screen to flash, but we just want the monster target to flash. And let's make it more red. Okay, so now if I hit play, you can see the monster flashes red and the sound effect changes. Scope, you can either set it to local, which affects this area specifically. If you set it to global, it affects the entire screen. So I think it becomes more apparent when you actually use these or call upon these animations in the game itself. Y-axis line, that's essentially the line on the very bottom, so you can set it to low, center, or you can set it to high, and this just gives you a good indication of where the animation is in respect to the screen. By default it's set to low. I'll go over a bit more on clone previous, mass copy clear, autocomplete, mass modify later on when I do a tutorial on creating a battle system similar to Zelda, because these come in handy quite a bit when you're doing stuff like that. But right now I'll just hit apply and go on to the next tab. So here we have different animations that are used in the default battle system. I don't really use these, so I'm just going to go on. Battle layout. The only thing I use this tab for is this. You see the thumbnail here, and in the thumbnail is a text message box. Now you can create a custom text message box using pictures, but if you want to use the default one and do something cool, it's by default set to traditional, which becomes less transparent. But if you go to alternative, you can change the transparency here, and then you can either go to large window or small window, and I like alternative small window and transparent if I'm using the default text message here. So actually let me show you guys that. So by default it's traditional large window, and I'm going to create a command here. So this is going to be a first. This is something new. What you want to do is go to edit event layer and then left click on any of the tiles, and this event editor window comes up, and under event commands is where you left click, double click, and you can enter a series of event commands. You have 4 tabs. It's pretty complicated, so I'll just go through it as the tutorials progress, but for the sake of what I'm doing right now, I want to go to message and go type in whatever I want. So hello world is usually a good one for starting out any coding language, but this is a bit more simpler than that. Anyways, event graphics, so say I want this guy here, and I want to place him near the shrub, and I'll hit play, and I'll hit save. So if I go to new game, and I go up to this guy and I press enter, hello world pops up in that text message window, and I'll just keep saying that. So I'm going to get out of here, and if I go back to the database or hit F8, what I like to do is under battle type here, select alternatives, have transparent select, and then use small window. And now if you hit play, oh, by the way, any change you make in the database itself does not require you to save. So if I change the background here or something like that, or if I change hero name to Cloud Ninja, I don't know, I'm not being very creative, but if I change anything in the database and I hit play, it's not going to require me to save. But if I even double click this and hit OK and I try to play, it's going to ask me to save, because anything done in the editor requires a save. So it's just something to keep in mind. Alright, if I go to new game now, and I talk to this guy now, you'll see that the text message is a bit smaller, which I think looks nicer, and it's a bit more transparent. And I think, personally, it's just a nicer effect if you're going to go by, use the default. So that's what I use that tab for mostly, the battle layout tab. Terrain tab, I'll go into depth a bit more later. I use it mainly for the sprite display, and when I'm creating my own custom graphics, it allows for some nice effects. Tile set. So this map right here uses the Talon tile set. This is a database for all your graphics, basically. Each of these entries has its own individual graphic. So if I look at the upper layer here, which I'm on in the map editor, you can see all the graphics used. You have 3 different options: passability, directional pass, or counter flag. Passability, circle means that the tile or the graphic under basically falls under the character. So if my hero was to pass over this shrub here, the shrub would be under the hero. If I change it by left clicking and make it X, if the hero tries to pass over it, he won't be able to because collision will be on. And if I change it to a star, if I pass through the shrub, you'll see that, well, hang on, let me move this. You'll see that the shrub appears over the hero now, which doesn't really make any sense. So I'm going to switch it back to X. Directional pass is similar to passability, but you have more control, so you can affect where the hero can pass through. So depending on if you want the hero to pass through the left side, up from the right side, or from down below, you can click on each individual square to toggle the arrow on or off. And then counter flag is, you only have 2 options. It's kind of like a Boolean encoding 0 or 1. If it's a diamond shape, you can actually talk to people through this tile. If it is deselected and just a small square, you can't do that. So if I go to directional pass, it's X right now. I can't actually go through this, but if I set the counter to diamond and I hit play, I hope this is making sense, but so if I try to talk to this guy through the shrub now, it'll actually work, even though I'm not, actually colliding with him, and that's because the counter is on. Okay, but if I try to, press enter here, nothing will happen because there's no event with, its individual commands on the left or right hand side of the shrub. If I go back and change the counter flag and turn that off and press play now, and new game, and I try to talk to that ogre-like event now and press enter, nothing happens. I actually have to physically go up to him and hit enter to talk to him. So that's what counter flag does. String is, we'll go over that a bit later, but I'll show you for page 5 here. You have your new game, load game, end game. So these are pretty much the text messages that pop up during different scenarios. So you have things like level up messages, messages for shops, messages for an inn, different stats in your actual menu. So if I want to switch to just new, for example, load, quit, for some reason I want that, I can hit apply, okay, and if I go to play, you'll see instead of new game, load game, and quit game, we just have new, load, and quit now. Okay, system. So this is your title screen right here. That's an important one. The RTP that you download comes with 4 that you can choose from. So if I want to switch title screens to, say, this map here, and game over, you only have 1 RTP game over screen, so you can't really change that unless you import, your graphics. You can affect things like starting party. So right now my first member is Cloud Ninja, and then I have 3 more consecutive members, Albert, Burns, and Klaus. Let's go to play. Actually, let me show you what. Let me show you what this does. So if I hit this button right here, it determines whether title screen is showing during test play. So if I hold that down, and press play, you know, you'll see the graphics in the background, the one we just selected, and the music is playing as well. And then if I go to new and hit X, which is your menu, you'll see that we have in our team Cloud Ninja, Albert, Burns, and Kloss. If I want to start the game off with just Cloud Ninja, I can go to the second member, hit none, and the following two, third member and fourth member, become blank slots. And if I hit OK and go to play, remember we don't need to save because we just affected the database. And if I hit X, now you see I only have Cloud Ninja in my party. So vehicles, you have skiff, ship, and airship. These are defaults that you can set by right-clicking on any of these tiles in your event layer. So this is the event editor. If I right-click on any one of these tiles, I can choose this option, which is place vehicle starting position. And then say I want a ship right there, okay, and right-click here, and I want to place an airship here. And you'll see these icons appear, so 2, 3, and that corresponds to your database. So 2 is ship, 3 is airship. And you can obviously change these graphics, so say if instead of a hot air balloon, I want this blimp, I can hit OK there, and when I go to new game, you'll see that my airship or hot air balloon is now a blimp. And if I want to enter it, I just hit enter, music starts playing, and I'm actually going over everything because the passability has changed. And if I want to get out, I just hit enter again. You know, it's pretty cool. It's a cool way of doing things. If I want to get into the ship, let's see. So this is something else that I want to talk about. Right now I can't enter the ship because it's actually one tile to the left, and I'm not, you know, colliding with it right now. So say that you're in your editor and you're kind of, you know, testing something out and you don't feel like going back out of your editor because, you know, I can't do anything here. I can't affect it. This window indicates that I'm test playing, please wait. I can't do anything. So if I want to get into the ship, all I have to do is hit Control on my keyboard, hold that down, and then move around. And this pretty much affects the passability, so now I can go through anything I want. So I can actually get to this water tile here that I would otherwise have not be able to. Okay, I'm not sure why that's not working, but anyways, just know if you hold Control down, you can actually move through stuff. Anyways, let's get rid of that, get rid of that. And then you have System BGM, which is your background music. So title screen, this should sound familiar if I hit play. So you can change that. If I hit OK, I'll still continue to play, so you actually want to hit stop. This is your battle music. Okay, and yeah. System graphics, you can choose between the RTP, or if you want to import, you can import. So say I want System 2 instead. I hit play now. You'll see the graphics here have changed. I hit new game, I can hold down Control, move through the fence there, so I don't have to go around it every single time. And if I talk to this guy, the graphics have changed again. Oops. Map transitions. So right now it's at fade out, fade in. We'll go over a bit more of that when we start doing teleport events. System 2. This you don't really have to worry about. And common events is the last and final tab. This is a big one. This is essentially a database of all the events that you want running in the background of your game. So say you want to create a day and night cycle, or a custom menu system, or a battle system. Say you want to create a custom bank system. Anything custom really, this is where you're going to be doing it. You can also do it in the event editor itself, but this is more global. In the event editor, you create, you know, codes for say a battle system by double clicking your left mouse button on any one of the tiles in event editing mode. Obviously you can't do that if you're in, you know, the graphic editing mode. You have to be in event editing mode. So you can actually code all that stuff in here by using these commands, but anything you code in here will only apply to this map. So A. If you create a new map, anything you code in here, so say I create a new map, we'll call it B, anything I code in A will not apply to B. But that is where the database and common event tab come in handy, because anything I code in here will, you know, should I choose, apply to both A and B. Okay? So that is essentially your database. Alright, so going over the database took a lot longer than I thought it would initially, but it makes sense because the database is very complex. There are a lot of options that you can tinker around with, and I think instead of trying to go over all the nuances in just one video, although I try to do, you know, the best job I could going over the general gist of it, I think what I'll do instead is, as this tutorial series for RPG Maker goes forward, when we're covering a specific part of the database, I'll actually show you guys how it applies to your game. I think that way it'll kind of register better. So I'll stop the video here. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'll have a link below in the description for my Lotus Software blog and my Facebook page. Please follow those and support you know, the Lotus Software and the Lotus brand in general by just liking, you know, us on Facebook. If these tutorials help you, you know, just leave a comment. I think the next video that I do will be about creating our own town. So I'll create a town from scratch, and I'll start applying and tying in some of these basics that we've been learning in the first two videos. I'll bring those all together and kind of create a original town from scratch, and at the end of the video I might do something where I suggest, you know, the viewers to create their own town from what they've learned. You know, whether you guys are new to it, to RPG Maker, or if you guys are veterans, you know, we'll maybe have a couple of video responses to the next tutorial. Kind of generate some interest and kind of, you know, it's a good way of getting the community involved, I think. So look forward to that, and yeah, thank you so much for watching once again. I'll see you guys next time.